How's it going, Avalanche family? This is Matt here again with BlueLine Systems, coming at you from sunny Jacksonville, Florida, at my shop, the Craft Castle here. Today I'd like to make a short video showing the installation procedure for my Avalanche Overland and Workman rack that I've designed specifically for the Chevrolet Avalanche and Cadillac EXE model trucks. We've already got a few of them going out the door, so I wanted to get this video out there quick for the people that have already purchased them, that they're en route, so that they can get a better understanding of what they're looking at, but also for future sales. Anybody that has any questions on how it goes on, this is going to be the video for you. The rack comes shipped in two separate boxes. The smaller box is going to have the rear brackets, the front brackets, a hardware kit, and some installation instructions. The larger box is going to have all three extrusions, or a four if you've ordered a fourth one, as well as the two side rails, which I have over off the side of my truck. As far as extrusions go, there's going to be one 46-inch long extrusion and two or three 46 and 3/8 inch long extrusions. The shortest one, the 46, is going to go in the rearmost portion of the kit. The other ones will go in any one of the forward positions, but we will cover that as the installation video progresses. As far as tools, you're going to need a 3/16 inch Allen key or bit for your driver of choice, 10 millimeter socket, and a 10 millimeter opened end wrench, as well as a 9/16 inch wrench to tighten up a couple of lock nuts. But yeah, so let's get started with the installation. The first thing that you're going to need to do is remove both of the factory grab handles off the truck. And one of the tools that you're going to need, I forgot to mention, is going to be a T30 Torx bit. That's what you're going to use to remove these back handles, as well as the fasteners up on the roof that we need to mount the front brackets with. So once you've got both of these factory handles removed, you're going to discard them. You will not need them any longer. And then from there, we can start installing our front brackets. So the fasteners that you're going to need for the front brackets and the roof brackets are an M6 body bolt, exactly the same type of a fastener that the factory utilizes. These are a black phosphate coated bolt, and you're going to need 3 for each one of the back brackets and then 1 each for the roof brackets. As far as the back brackets go, the slope of the bracket will slope towards the front of the truck. So there is a driver and a passenger side. We deliver these brackets completely assembled. It is a 2-piece bracket, but we've assembled it with full stainless hardware. So it won't be any question as to which side it goes on, because the bolt holes just will not line up if you got it on the wrong side. But pretty simple installation. Get your side bracket and your 3 body bolts, and just kind of basically stick them in there and get them started. Finger tight. On these, ultimately, I would tell you to add a drop of thread locking liquid to them, and the thread locker is included in the packaging with all the hardware. I include a small tube of thread locking material in there. Oh, there it goes. Once you get these kind of started with your fingers, line up the holes. There you go. Then you can take your 10 millimeter and run them down. Don't want to over tighten them at this point. I just like to get it nice and snug. Once the whole rack is completed is when we will come back and just kind of retighten up everything. Got those snug down. That one's on now. You're just going to do the same for the opposite side. So I'm going to be in the frame here. Just like that. Bring them down. These holes in this bracket are a little bit larger than the fasteners because what we found is that the holes in most avalanches are very close, but they're not all exact. In other words, how they're pre-drilled from the factory going down the assembly line, they're not all dead nuts in the same spot. So just that simple. The back brackets are on the truck. They're, like I said, snugged and ready to go. So now we're going to move up to the front of the truck. Alrighty, now that we're in the front of the bed of the truck here, one thing I forgot to mention at the start is actually step one in all of this is you want to go ahead and take the tonneau covers off so that you can have access to everything you need to get to. So now that we've climbed up into the top of the truck, I've got a blanket put out here so nothing's going to scratch my paint. But in full disclosure, I have this blanket up here because my roof's not clean. This is a work truck. I don't claim it to be a show truck, so I didn't want you to see what the unwashed roof of my truck looks like. But if yours looks the same as mine right now, it is a great time to get up here with a scrub brush and clean this roof off. So we're back here to put the front mounts on. So you'll notice there are 6 bolts in this upper plastic cladding on the truck that mount the cladding to the roof of the truck. You're going to remove the 2nd and the 5th bolt. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to remove those out, discard those fasteners. You'll need that T30 Torx bit for that. But like I said, discard them. You're not going to need them after that. This is where we're going to put in the front mounts. There is a driver and a passenger side. I generally mark the bottoms of them with a paint pen. But just in case one slips through the crack, this is what you need to know. The roof of this truck slopes to the sides and to the back. So the angle on these brackets are very specific to the sides. There is a short side and a tall side on each one of these brackets. The tall side faces the outside edges of the truck. The shorter sides face to the middle of the truck. That's how you're going to know if you need a driver or passenger side. So the short ones face in, short sides face in, long sides face out. Pretty simple installation. You're just going to take the last 2 body bolts that come in the kit, slip it down through here, and just snug it up. Don't tighten it all the way up because these, once you put this front crossbar on, it's going to self-adjust these, and then you can get underneath that bar with your open-end wrench and tighten these front brackets up. I do include with these front brackets a self-adhesive rubber strip to go on the bottom of this for those of you with the painted claddings, or if you've got a plastic cladding like mine and you just don't want the metal sitting on it, you have the option to put that self-adhesive rubber strip on there. For my truck, I'm not using it for this video, but know that it's going to be in the package. On these bolts, I would tell you to put a drop or 2 of the blue thread locker on there as well. I'm not sure if I've said it already in the video, but the hardware kit that I include with all the bracketry and the nuts and bolts does come with a small tube of blue thread lock. So at this point, I've got them kind of finger started, and I'm just going to run these down a little bit. Like I said, we're going to leave them a little bit loose. We'll snug it up once it's all said and done. Once that front crossbar goes on there. Okay, just that simple. So now all 4 brackets are installed on the truck and we're ready to start putting some crossbars on. Alrighty, so now I have one of the 46 3/8 inch long 1 1/2 by 3 inch extrusions. You'll see these things are pretty doggone heavy duty when you get them in. So for this part, to attach this bar to these brackets, we're going to use this front slot, the narrower side. You're going to need 4 T-nuts and 4 of the 5/16 by 5/8 inch fasteners. Your kit's going to come with stainless. I'm using black stainless on mine. I didn't like how these held up long term, so that's why I'm including the bright stainless in all these kits. So basically, just slide 4 of these T-nuts in, 2 on each side. They have a little spring ball on the bottom of them to help keep them in a specific spot for you. It's also helpful to have a little screwdriver or a key or something to slide these things around once they get in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, because you are going to need to line them up with the holes on the brackets. Okay. And you can kind of get them close just by eyeballing them with the bracket here, but I'll show you the little trick that I use. This, I'm going to get my little hex key. It's a little bit easier for me to do. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole installation, is this part right here. Basically, you're going to have to line up one of these 5/8 inch long fasteners through this hole and get it into that T-nut, and you can kind of visualize it from the top here. All you got to do is just get it started to where it threads in a little bit. Might take a little wiggling around to get it. Let's see how good I'm going to be able to do here. Oh, I think I got it. Yep. All right. Got that one done. Now, since this is, that one's in there, you can slide it around now to line your next fastener up. So, get this one, do the same thing for this side. Boom, just like that. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a little anti-seize on each one of these. It's kind of a personal preference. I'm not doing it in this video, but it's probably not a bad idea to do. So this is where having your little key here is going to help. You can slide this fastener down in there a little bit to where you can see it through the hole. We'll just get that one started just like that. And the last one, where did it go? There. Get in there. There it is. Alrighty, now that that's centered in the track there, just slide it back down, get a little bit of a visual. Wiggle the bar around a little bit if you have to, but that's it. All 4 are in. So now you can use a measuring tape or your calibrated eye and basically center this rail a little bit, both sides. It lines up almost to the bolt heads of this number 1 and number 6 bolt. But again, just get it kind of close. You don't have to tighten these down yet. Wait until you get the side rails on. And then once everything's all said and done, then you can come back and tighten it up. So that is the installation of the front bar. Now we're going to move on to the back bar. Alrighty, now that we're done with the rear brackets, the front brackets, and the front crossbar, the next step is going to be to install the 2 side rails. For that, you're going to need both of the side rails, and then 2 of the 1-inch fasteners and 2 of the 3/4 inch fasteners per side. The 1-inch fasteners are going to go up in the front, and the 3/4 inch ones will go in the rear, and I'll show you about that right now. So when you take this side bracket, side rail to the side here, just set this bent flange on top of that front extrusion and set the flange on top of the rear sail, and it'll hold itself up there. I find it easier to climb up in the bed to line the holes up here, just because I'm a little bit shorter. I don't have my stepping stool. But basically, as with everything, just kind of get them started. You can put a drop of anti-seize on these if you'd like. But basically all we're doing is getting those fasteners started here. Now on the back, you'll use the 3/4 inch fasteners just on the bottom 2 bolt holes. And those are what you're going to put that lock nut on. So once these 3/4 inch fasteners go through the side rail and the rear sail panel, Now you can put that lock nut on there, give it a good snug. The upper holes are going to be for the rear crossbar. Same thing for the opposite side. Take this rail, set it on your extrusion, set it on your back mount here, and go ahead and insert those fasteners to a snug position. After that, we'll come back and install this rear cross brace. I'll show you that here in just a second. One thing that I did forget to mention is I've included stainless washers, a bunch of them in the hardware kit. Basically, while you don't need it, I like the idea of having them, but the stainless washers are for all of these stainless 1-inch, 3/4 inch, and 5/8 inch fasteners to utilize throughout this rack. So they're in the packaging. That's what they're there for. I know I didn't talk about it earlier in the video, but I'm not going to go back and re-record everything. So just know that the washers are there. I've used this rack for about 5 months without washers at all. It held up fine, but the washers do give it just a little bit more flange area for durability and long-term stress relief. All right, so now at this stage, we're ready to assemble or install the rear crossbar. Remember, this is going to be the shortest one, the 46-inch long bar. For this, you're going to need 2 each of the 1-inch fasteners on each side, with washers if you choose to use washers. This could be where it'd be handy to have somebody helping you out with that. Otherwise, I would suggest you hop up in the truck and hold it from underneath on each side. It takes a little bit to line these holes up. This is why you leave all your fasteners a little bit on the loose side, to give you that little bit of wiggle room to get all these fasteners holes lined up. We got those 2 started. And again, once you have everything kind of figure tight, just go back in and take your driver, your Allen key, and snug them up. We're still not ready to tighten everything up at this point. Right now is when you go ahead and install your 3rd and/or 4th cross beam if you had that. Then once you've got everything installed, then go back and tighten down all your fasteners. You don't need them overly tight, just good and snug. Remember, you're going to have that drop of blue thread lock on your main mounts. The front mount, you'll have to get your open-end wrench and get underneath that rail to tighten that those 2 fastening points down. But outside of that, everything else is fairly easy to access. And that's it. Now you're ready to utilize the rack. Now you can push your rooftop tent, your kayaks, mount some LED light strips, whatever you want to put on that thing, or just throw some ladders up there. It'll be ready to rock. So hopefully this has been an informative video, and if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and send me a message. You can also check out the website. That's www.bluelinesys.com. I'd also like to add a couple of notes here real quick that I didn't record in the original video, but these cross beams are 1 1/2 by 3 inch. So the way that the side rails are designed is you can mount these flat or tall. So when they're tall, you get a much stronger weight rating or load resistance than if they're mounted flat. But trust me, mounting them flat is going to carry all the load this rack would ever need to carry. But do know that you can mount them upright, with the exception of the front bar. That one has to be mounted flat. But the rest of the 3 bars all the way back, if you choose to turn them up like this, you can. Just remember it's going to create a 3-inch span here for any mounting brackets or U-bolts you might need to use. That's why mounting it on the 1.5-inch plane is a lot better for any under mounts that might have to go through there like that. But so keep that in mind. And lastly, on the T-nuts, I didn't talk about this in the video. They can be installed in these slots at the time or before you put the slot in, but they're also meant to be drop in as well. So if you forget to put some in, you can literally just slide these things into the slot of the rail and slide it down, and it will get into position that way as well. So don't fret if you get a rail put in there and you didn't get the T-nut put in time. They are drop-in style T-nuts.